In this lab, we will see how to reset the password for IAM user, and we will also create IAM roles. So let's do that. I'll click on IAM and it is loading. I'll let it load and then I'll click on users. So here this is the user which we have created in our previous lab. So I'll click on this and then I will scroll down further and then I'll click on security credentials, and here you can see manage console access. So we have to click on this option, and here we have the option to reset the password. So I'll select this, and again either we can select this option, auto generated password or custom password, and then we also have an option to user must create a new password at next sign in, which we had already seen our previous lab. So whatever option suits your company policy or your requirement, you can select those options, and accordingly you can reset the password. And additionally, you can also revoke the access uh, for that management console for that particular user. So the from here that can be done. So I'll just close this one and we'll see how to create IAM roles. So I'll click on roles. So here if you can see that these two roles are already created. So whenever you create an AWS account, these are by default created. So we will create a custom role here. So I'll click on create role, and here we have multiple options while creating the roles. So before we do that, I'll just show you a quick thing here. I'll click on this, and if you are in any topic, if you click on this eye icon, it will give you a quick and nice read about that particular topic. So here it says that a role is an IAM identity that you can create in your own account that has specific permission. An IAM role has some similarities to an IAM user. Role and users are both AWS identities with permission policies that determine what the identity can or cannot do in AWS. So, in short, we create roles if we want to provide access to any AWS service to any other AWS service. So, we will validate that when we are in our validation section. So, in this case, if we want to create role for EC2 or Lambda, then we will select this. For or any other AWS service, we will select this. If we want to configure roles for AWS accounts, allow entities in other AWS accounts belonging to you or in a third party to perform any action in this account, then we will select this option. For web identity, we will select this option. For SAML 2.0, we will select this option. And if we want to create any custom trust policy, we can select this option. So for now, we will just continue with this selection, AWS service, and then we'll scroll down. And here we have use cases, and EC2 and Lambda are the mostly used or commonly used services for which roles are created. So we will select EC2 and then we'll scroll down. It has multiple options, so we will continue with our EC2, the first option. We'll click on next, and here we can configure the permission for that role. So let us do that. So for this role, I'll give IAM permission. So let me search IAM here, and I'll select IAM full access, and we'll scroll down. We'll click on next, and we will give it a name. So IAM access, or maybe we can give IAM role. Let's do that. IAM role, and then it shows that this select the trusted entities and all. We don't need to do any kind of modification here. And then it also shows what is the permission it will give to that particular role. So IAM full access is the permission which we have selected for this role, and I'll click on create role. So let me do that. So role has been successfully created, and we will create one more role. Let me do that. We'll click on roles. So it will load. Meanwhile, let me close this, and then I'll click on create role. Again, we will continue with our current selection. We will select EC2, scroll down, click next, and under this role we will give it to S3 access. So I'll select S3. Let me expand it a little bit. So I will select this option, Amazon S3 full access. I'll click on next. I'll give it a name, S3 access or S3 role. So I've given it a name. I will not do any changes here. And here you can see this role will have this permission, Amazon S3 full access. And then I will simply click on create role. So let me do that. So the second role has also been created. Let me scroll up, and you can see that IAM role and S3 role have been created. And in our next lab, we will test these two roles. We will attach these roles to our EC2 instance, and we'll see how they are working. So in this lab, we will cover only this much, and we'll wrap up here. But before we wrap up, I'll wanted to show you one quick thing here. I'll go to account settings, and here we have these password policies. So this is the default password policy which is already available and configured, and we can edit the password policy. So if I click edit, you can see here this was a default password policy, and if we click on custom, and then we can change the password policy based on our requirement or based on our company policy. So the password minimum length can be changed, and the password strength combination can be changed, and other requirements. So based on the requirement, we can modify these things, and if we click change save changes, then it will create a custom password policy for us. And the other thing I just wanted to show here is, if I click on policies, so it's loading. So you can see here Amazon has already created 1227 policies based on best use cases. So based on our requirement, we can use any of the policy while giving access to the IAM users, or we can create our own policy after clicking here. So that is all I wanted to show in this lab, and we will validate our IAM roles once we create an EC2 instance, and after that we will do that validation. So with that, let's wrap up this one, and thank you so much.